Toyota is bringing 15 fully battery electric vehicles to the world by 2025. The first will be the just announced bZ4X, but even more exciting, Toyota has confirmed an electric pickup truck is imminent. Over at the Toyota newsroom, this is the American newsroom, every single Toyota newsroom around the world is breaking this news. This means Toyota is planning a global onslaught of electric vehicles. If you're excited for Toyota to get their hands dirty, feet wet with electric vehicles, it's about time, right? Make sure you smash the like button and you're subscribed, because if you're not subscribed, you're gonna miss all my developing news on this in the coming weeks, months, years, etc. Toyota debuts the all-electric SUV concept. They are calling it a concept, but let's be real. This vehicle could go into production, or it's been probably ready for production for a while. They're just waiting for the environment to be perfect for them to launch their first mass-produced EV. And here it is, the bZ4X includes a new all-wheel drive system that's been designed in conjunction with Subaru. So Subaru has been involved with the development not only of this vehicle, but with the ETNGA platform and whole. But it hasn't been just Subaru. We find out that Daihatsu is involved, especially with the smaller vehicles, as well as Suzuki. Again, we're not going to see those smaller battery electric vehicles come to the United States, at least I don't expect. But Toyota's able to divvy the costs out to the smaller companies that they have ownership in or of. Not only that, we see that BYD is a big component. Now, BYD is one of the largest battery suppliers in the world. They're a Chinese company. And I think they showed BYD for this press release largely because this was announced in the Shanghai Motor Show. So they wanted to say, hey, not only is this vehicle going to be produced in China, which it is for the Chinese market and maybe Asian markets, but it's also going to be produced in Japan. I expect the Japanese models to come with Panasonic batteries, and those are the models we'll get here stateside. And the ones for the Chinese market, in theory, could be with the BYD sourced batteries. They're planning on bringing 70 electrified models globally by 2025. That includes hybrids, plug-in hybrids, fuel cells as well as battery electric vehicles, 15 of which are coming by 2025, and 7 of them will be bZ models, which stands for Beyond Zero. Now, this was the biggest bombshell that I got out of this entire thing. There's tons of good nuggets in here, but this right here caught me off guard. Toyota plans on bringing electrification to its truck lineup. Well, we've known about the Tundra hybrid, possibly plug-in hybrid as well. And don't forget the Land Cruiser, because it's based on the TNGA platform as well as the Tundra. But guys, battery electric vehicle powertrains coming to their truck-based vehicles. Now guys, I could read a lot of this press release and put you to sleep, but I'm not going to do that because there's some things I really wanted to talk about, and we're going to go to the spreadsheet. So make sure you have your snacks and drinks ready. But I'm going to take a stab at what they are bringing to the market in the next 4 years at this point, by 2025. They say 15 battery electric models, 7 which are the Beyond Zero. Now, Toyota did trademark Beyond Zero or bZ1 through bZ5, and they also trademarked bZ4X through bZ5X. I'm going to try to take a stab at what those are, and then what the remainder of those 15 electrified vehicles are that are not the bZ. So here's my little list here. Sorry I don't have it all pretty and color coordinated like we'll go over at the top of the list, but here we are. 7 bZ models. So this is my stab at what they're going to be, and these are the segments at what they're going to be. Now, we don't know what X means quite yet. X could mean a few things. It could mean a crossover variant of that vehicle. It could be that the vehicle has more range, maybe a larger battery pack. It could mean that the vehicle has more power. It could mean that the vehicle has more power also through an all-wheel drive, in addition of another motor on an additional axle there. So it could mean a lot of different things. To me, what X makes the most sense of, to me anyways, is that it would be all-wheel drive and possibly more range and power. I don't think that they would have 10 models or just, bZ 1 through 5, that would be sedans or something like that. And then they would have bZ 1 through 5X, which would be crossovers. To me, that doesn't make sense. It's too many models too fast for them. So how I see it is that they're going to be producing vehicles that are the most common, the best selling sort of vehicle, which is mainly crossovers right now for that specific segment. So I think the majority of these are going to be crossovers. Let's just get into what I think they're going to be bringing. On the bZ end of things, they're going to have an A car or a city car that's going to be fully electric. Obviously, these are all fully electric. Something like the iGo. We got the iGo X concept, so maybe that could be also called a bZ1. But I'm not quite sure because I do think all the bZ models are going to be on the eTNGA skateboard battery electric platform. So we'll see what happens with the iGo. We know that the iGo Cross that was just revealed, the concept or the prologue is what they're calling it. I think that's what it is. Anyways, it's going to be coming with a gasoline option, probably a hybrid option as well, and they could electrify it if they want to. And then you would have a bZ2, of course. So bZ2 would be something like a Yaris, maybe even a Yaris Cross. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it a full crossover and they have a, let's say, a two-wheel drive version and then a four-wheel drive version of it as well. C segment. So this is going to be something like maybe the CHR or the Corolla Cross sort of vehicle. Again, I think it's going to be a crossover. And I think really, other than the A and Bs, I think the rest of them are for sure going to be crossover-like vehicles. So, well, we know with the bZ4X, that's RAV4 sized, possibly bigger on the inside, but in terms of exterior dimensions, it's probably really similar to the RAV4. And then the bZ5X, which would be like the Highlander. So this would be your three-row crossover fully electric vehicle. So that would be the 7 models. That's what I'm taking a stab at. And only the bZ3 and the bZ3X and the bZ2 and the bZ2X is what I'm guessing for them to have non-X variants at the beginning, the first 5 years of them rolling out. They don't need to have all-wheel drive or they don't need to have front-wheel drive versions, for example, for the larger, more expensive vehicles. They can just make them as all-wheel drive. But again, we don't know exactly what the X is. I'm just taking a stab at it. What would the remaining vehicles be? Again, lots of salt. Guys, if I didn't mention earlier, you should be taking everything with a grain of salt today. But that's what makes this fun. So what would be the 8 remaining vehicles? Now, they don't necessarily mean that they're going to be available for every single market. I don't expect America to probably get the bZ1 or bZ2. So what about the remaining vehicles? Well, I expect a microcar or a K car for Asia. Simple as that. And of course, you're going to see lots of Daihatsu and Suzuki versions of those cars as well. We're going to have a UZ350E. That's my guess. Something about the same size as the UX 300E or the UX 250H. So something that's really small, crossover vehicle, all-wheel drive, of course. The RZ450E, which has been trademarked, and this could be something like the RAV4 size, but it could also be smaller as well. So it'll be interesting to see how big this RZ450E is. It might be about NX size. It's really hard to say, but we know it has been trademarked. So I am expecting an electric RX. Now, these two vehicles here, my guess would be they would be on the skateboard platform, the eTNGA platform. The rest of these vehicles you see, guys, on this list, these Lexus vehicles, would be on the existing TNGA platform. So you would have the upcoming RX, which is going to be based on the TNGA K platform, and that they would be able to make that into a fully electric vehicle, fully electric RX, fully electric LS based on the TNGA L platform. We have an electric Tundra. We have an electric LX, whatever they want to call it, LX 700E, and an electric LQ. That's just my wishful thinking, of course. So let's look at these quick charts here on roughly, I'm just taking a stab at the ranges and power capacities of each of these segments. And I kind of see it as the larger, the more expensive the vehicle is, the more range it will have, as well as the more power it's going to have. Don't know if that's going to be the truth in the long term, but I think it kind of makes sense that way. So you have a K car or a bZ1 or something like that, really, really small A segment sort of vehicle, anywhere from 80 to 150 miles of range and front wheel drive only at 107 horsepower, something very modest. Then you have a UZ350E or the bZ2 or the bZ2X, whatever they want to call it. 200 to 300 miles of range, and then anywhere from, and I expect the Lexus one to be all-wheel drive for sure, so I'd expect that to have the 274 horsepower, but like a base bZ2 could have something like a front motor only in some configurations for 167 horsepower, something pretty modest there. Now, as we get larger, bZ4X, which is the vehicle that was just unveiled, except I have to take a stab at the powertrain and the range since they didn't communicate any of that. I'm guessing 201 horsepower to the front or to the rear wheels, and then the assistant motor on the opposite axle for a total of about 300 horsepower. Range, now this is all in miles and EPA, by the way, so I'm guessing around 250 to 300 miles of range when we get the bZ4X. By the way, it's going to be coming in summer of 2022 for America. So yes, pretty exciting. That's coming within a year or so. I expect China to get it first, maybe by the end of this year, and for it to hit subsequent markets after that, Europe especially. Next, we have the RX Electric and the bZ5X, anywhere from 250 to 325 miles of range. And this could have, guys, over 402 horsepower and 441 pound-feet of torque. They would put two 201 horsepower motors in it, and we have been teased this vehicle by Toyota/Lexus at the Direct 4 presentation. So that one's the easiest one out of all these to kind of predict. Then you would have the most expensive and the largest ones here, the electric Tundra, the electric LX, the electric LS, and then the LQE or the LF1 made into a fully electric vehicle, and 270 to 350 miles of range. I don't expect the LX or the Tundra to get 350 miles of range, probably the LS, being that it's the lowest to the ground, the most aerodynamic. And this vehicle could have over 500 horsepower. The LFZ electrified concept had over 500 horsepower, and 0 to 60 could go, I think it was under 3 seconds. So these vehicles will be especially quick in acceleration and have exceptional mileage, but they're also going to cost well over $100,000, at least for the Lexus counterparts. The Tundra, not quite sure. And again, I don't know if it's going to have 500 horsepower, but I think that would be adequate to go against like the dual motor Cybertruck. So guys, real quick before I let you go, Honda also was at the Shanghai Motor Show. They teased a prototype of an SUV that is going to be coming to China first. So don't know when we're going to be seeing well, we're not going to be seeing this vehicle in the United States because we're working with GM in 2024 to bring an Acura EV based off the Cadillac Lyriq, as well as a different EV for Honda that is going to be made in Mexico, I think, at a GM plant down there. So they also have a plug-in hybrid Breeze, which is the same thing as the CR-V plug-in hybrid. So we'll see if we'll be getting a plug-in hybrid CR-V anytime soon. And then Genesis came out with a fully electric G80, which I was expecting. So it's good that some of my speculation turns out right every once in a while. But this vehicle will be coming soon to China, probably in the next year or so. And it's a fast charger, 10 to 80% in just 22 minutes. It has a lot of power. Of course, it's only all-wheel drive. It has 272 kilowatts, which converting that is 365 horsepower. And it has 700 newton meters of torque, and converting that is 516 pound-feet of torque. So a lot of torque, a good amount of power, and it goes 0 to 60 under 5 seconds. That's definitely going to be faster than any of their other G80s that they've ever made. So pretty cool. I'm excited to see that come to America as well. I'm hoping it comes to America. I don't see why it wouldn't. Guys, I'm going to end it there. Very long-winded today. A lot of thoughts and a lot of speculation, but that's what happens when we get big unveils and they say, oh, here's 15 vehicles that'll be coming in the next 5 years. And then it's crickets. And then you got to try to figure out, well, what are these vehicles going to be? So hopefully I was entertaining for you guys. Hopefully you found some value in it. And if you did, make sure you have smashed that like button and make sure you are subscribed, because again, I'm not going to stop giving you guys news, and I'm not going to stop giving you guys on hands-on reviews as well. Thank you so much for all your support, guys. We had a lot of fun with the live stream last time when we saw all this come down the hatch in real time. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.